Virgo, welcome to your monthly horoscope for October 2023. In this video, I will be getting into all of the major energies for the month of October. Now, coming into the month, we are officially in eclipse season. We are going to have a solar eclipse in Libra, October 14th at 21 degrees here in your second house. And we are going to have our final lunar eclipse in Taurus, closing out this Taurus Scorpio nodal journey you have been moving through since February 2022. So we will be getting into all of that energy. Now, we have the sun in Libra. There's actually quite a lot of Libra energy and Venus energy as we move through the month. So there's a lot of focus on your money, your finances, material possessions with the sun being in Libra. Also, too, once we get to October 4th, we have Mercury entering Libra here. So there is a lot of focus on money, finances, material possessions, values, self-love, self-worth. Once we get to October 8th, we have Venus moving out of your 12th house, and Venus has been in Leo in your 12th house since June. Now, this is an energy of, the last few months of reprogramming your subconscious, also redirecting energies, rethinking certain things when it has to do with your spiritual practice. The 12th house also represents self-undoing and self-sabotaging behaviors, tendencies, and patterns. So there may have been a lot of reprogramming those energies over the last few months. Now, once a Venus moves into Virgo, into your first house, there can be changes with your appearance, maybe thinking about changing your hair or your physical body in some way, because the first house represents you, your character, your personality, how you view this physical reality, your perception. So there can also be a lot of focus with money and finances, and also the ninth house themes and topics, because Venus rules your second house and your ninth house. And so Venus moving through the first can have you focusing a lot more on these areas of life. Now, the ninth house represents higher education, higher knowledge, long distance travel, belief systems. And the second house is your money, your finances, and material possessions. Now, the interesting thing about this energy is that Mercury here and Venus are in this mutual reception, because Mercury is your chart ruler, being in a Venus ruled sign, and Venus is in a Mercury ruled sign. So there is something being integrated here. There is something with the first house and the second house working together, focusing a lot more on your finances, shifting and changing your direction in some way when it has to do with your finances. That can really be a beautiful energy. The one thing is that Venus is at her fall in Virgo. So we do want to be careful of not being too over analytical, especially with yourself, getting stuck, overthinking certain things, and just being too hard on yourself in general. So that is an energy you do want to be mindful of. Once we get to October 10th, we have Pluto stationing direct here in your fifth house. Now, when Pluto stations direct, there's this square here between Mars and Pluto. This can feel intense. There can be something showing up around this time when it has to do with your money, your finances, and material possessions that you're having to work through. Remember, Pluto brings what is beneath the surface to light so that you can transmute it and transform. So around the 10th of October, pay attention to what is showing up for you. Now, Mars also rules your eighth house of your partner's finances, money coming in from outside resources, taxes, inheritance, also psychological healing and transformation. So there can be something, with those themes and topics as well showing up for you to transform in some way. Once we get to October 12th, we have Mars entering Scorpio here in your third house of community, neighbors, the neighborhood, communication. There can be, maybe you're taking action with something with these themes and topics, maybe focusing more on writing or communicating, maybe podcasting. It could definitely show up in that way. Now, depending on if Mars is your most malefic planet, depending on if you have a day chart or a night chart, will depend on if this energy can be a little bit more challenging. But this can have to do with, taking action with something that has to do with community, neighbors, neighborhood, reading, speaking, writing, communication vehicles, something along those lines. And then October 14th, we have the solar eclipse in Libra at 21 degrees here. This is a new moon solar eclipse. Now, we have the south node in Libra and the north node in Aries. And so until January 2025, you are going to be going through a lot of changes when it has to do with your money and your finances. There's a lot of releasing and letting go, maybe of possible old financial commitments, maybe releasing, letting go of anything you no longer need, you no longer want to pay for. I mean, it can definitely show up in that way, but there is a lot of changes taking place. And the solar eclipse in Libra is highlighting that for you, bringing new energy in around your money and your finances, material possessions. And so this really is a stepping stone on this nodal journey that you're moving through, with these changes that will be taking place between now and January 2025. Also think back to 2005. That is the last time we had the South Node in Libra. So anything that was really showing up for you back in 2005, that can give you an idea of energies that you will be moving through. Now, October 19th, 20th, and 21st, we have the Mercury Cazimi, and Mercury and the Sun move together from 25 degrees, 26, and 27 degrees. So they move together for a couple of days here. Mercury being your chart ruler, you are definitely going to be feeling this energy. This can definitely be some sort of insight, maybe even having a conversation with someone and something clicks, hearing some type of information. This can be some type of aha moment when it has to do with the direction you are moving into, because Venus is your chart ruler. So this can really have to do with you, something showing up for you, bringing clarity. It can have to do with money and finances because it is here in the second house, but Mercury also rules your first house and your 10th house of career, a public reputation. So it can also be something showing up for you where you have this final, okay, now I know the direction I want to move in, whether it is for your career or just this new direction with yourself that you are kind of moving towards. And then October 22nd, we have Mercury entering Scorpio, and October 23rd, we have the Sun entering Scorpio. So we go from having a lot of energy here in your second house to now a lot of focus and energy in the third house. And also too, because Mercury is your chart ruler, the Sun is your self-expression, and really, when the Sun is transiting our chart, it's bringing a lot of our focus to these areas of life, and it's lighting those areas up, those areas of our life. It's lighting it's lighting those areas up for us, and we can be focusing a lot more on the themes and topics associated with that house. And so we go from, focusing a lot on money and finances to now focusing on community, neighbors, neighborhood, possibly siblings, cousins, vehicles, communication in some way, maybe writing, maybe speaking. If you have a podcast, or if you are a writer, if you create courses or programs, there's a lot of focus in this area of life the last week of October. And then October 28th, we have our final lunar eclipse in Taurus at 5 degrees here. So don't pay attention to the moon here at 12. The moon will be here right at 5 degrees, directly opposite the sun. And this is our final eclipse in Taurus. So whatever changes have taken place when it has to do with these third house themes and topics and ninth house themes and topics, this is a finalizing of that energy. And these are changes you've been moving through since February 2022. So when it has to do with school, higher education, higher knowledge, long distance travel, philosophy, your belief systems, and community, neighbors, communication, those areas of life, we're going through a lot of changes since February 2022. So this final lunar eclipse in Taurus is closing that out. There's a final understanding, a final knowing. There's this finalizing of energies when it has to do with the cycle that you've been moving through since February 2022. Hey, Virgo, thank you so much for joining me. I hope this helps you move through the energies for October. If you align with my energy and enjoy my content, don't forget to subscribe and like this video, and I will connect with you in the next one.